Hey there, my name is Nenad, and I will tell you a little bit about our hackathon bounty as well as virtual testnets that are the centerpiece of that bounty. So let's dive in. First of all, virtual testnets are essentially forks of mainnet that give you the historical mainnet data access, and they're actually located on Tenderly's infrastructure, making them shareable. Allows you to connect with existing protocols and contracts. It allows you to access the actual state of contracts using something called LivSync. So when you create a testnet, you can opt in for LivSync, which essentially means that the state changes that are happening on the mainnet will become visible on your virtual testnet, on your working copy. So let's suppose that I'm sending a transaction here, and it depends on the value of an oracle from mainnet. I will get the latest updated value if I try to query it here. Now, virtual testnets also come with a little bit of convenience. You get an unlimited faucet, allowing you to fund native and ERC20 tokens to arbitrary amounts. And the latter, the ERC20 tokens, it actually works with absolutely any ERC20 compliant contract, whether or not verified. You can just give it an address and an amount, and you get a whole lot of tokens. These convenience methods, alongside with some other methods for network state manipulation, are included in Virtual TestNets Admin RPC. So it's the ultimate manipulation of your virtual testnet's state. You can change time, block number, you can change any storage slot, you can even place code on arbitrary addresses on virtual testnets. Okay, so now that we know what virtual testnets are, let's explore a couple of ways that you can utilize them. So the first way would be to stage hackathon submissions, and we made this very easy by creating a fork of Scaffold ETH. So you can just clone the repository that's linked here, and you can stage your entire project on the virtual testnet from the get-go. This means that you can deploy your contracts to it, you can build your UI, you can use Tenderly's debugger and transaction trace to debug your smart contracts or transactions. And essentially, after you're finished building in this manner, you can just keep your dapp staged on that virtual testnet and simply share a public block explorer for judging. Of course, this works only if you're not explicitly required to deploy to a specific network. All right, next in line, we can make this a little more challenging. So you can actually build your UIs and backends using whatever you'd like, not only Scaffold ETH. What's necessary there is just to, well, adapt client libraries and UI libraries to talk to the virtual testnets RPC. You can still use the unlimited faucet, pretty much everything like in the previous step, but you have all the control of connecting your off-chain components UI and backend, namely, to the virtual testnet. And now that we covered this part and mentioned off-chain components, let's talk a little bit about that. So we can, of course, talk about other off-chain components that need an RPC, indexers, bridges, or whatever you guys come up with. So if you have any ideas, feel free to share or surprise us. So that's the off-chain part. And another bit of inspiration that you can use is actually adding the SimulationRPC. So this is handy if you see a chance to add some preventive security measures in your dapp, because with SimulationRPC, you can pretty much get, well, a simulation of a transaction and see the token transfers, see the gas usage. You can see the entire trace, the entire call trace between your contracts, and in that way show more information to the user or bake in some preventive security measures in your dapp. And last but not least, something innovative. So something regarding virtual testnets that we haven't thought of yet. So whatever that is, you can share it, or you can just surprise us with your bug bounty, or you can just surprise us, with your hackathon submission. Those were some ideas what you can do with virtual testnets. And what's also important is to check out this section, because there's a simple staging document there's a simple staging how-to that uses Scaffold ETH2 that I mentioned. There's the virtual testnet quick start. There's a more complex staging tutorial, then stuff around sending transactions to the virtual testnet because it is an RPC, and so on and so on. And in this section, you will find a document on how to activate your Tenderly's. All right, that's about it for me. Have fun and surprise us with some cool projects.